But I'm thinking next week we get something funkier and dirtier. Daddy. Hey, one time my wife and I, it was crazy. All right, it may take you a while. It may take you quite a bit of time to find it. But, okay, everyone cries, I need some help. Can I have a heart? No, hold on. Can you hear that now? Oh, I think I got it. Can you hear this now? I had it a second ago. Yep. Okay, we're good. All right. So this is episode 115. Now they're saying, wait, Sheldon, yes, I can hear you now. You're on. Okay, fantastic. All right, welcome to episode 115. Little technical difficulties, but we're back and we're raring to go. This is going to be a good show. For welcome to everyone who's new to the show. It's been about a month since the last one. I'm going to explain to you exactly what I've been doing and why it's been taking so long to get back on the show. So the show, the Rubio Method, is just basically broken into 5 categories. Those 5 categories are: everything happens for a reason, there are winners and losers in life, accept and embrace, working hard is not enough, and confidence is the key. And these are basically factors that I use all the time, that I just go through life. You hear me say it all the time. I know my kids say it all the time as well, and can have noise people around them, but it is what it is. And so what are we going to talk about with each one? Everything happens for a reason. We're going to talk about the state of the union for the Rubio Method, basically what's going on with us. There are winners and losers in life. We're going to talk about something called sideline sports. Some of you are going to say, okay, I know what that is. Some of you are going to have no idea. Don't worry, I'm going to clear it all up for you. Then we're going to move over to accept and embrace. You know I'm going to talk about USA versus Canada. There's just no way. And just the aftermath is I don't want to say delicious, but it's delicious. It's very, very unique. I don't know what's going on. Working hard is not enough. The State of the Union, there was a big gamble there, but it paid off. And we're going to talk a little bit. I'm not going to get too political because it's too easy. Then confidence is the key. Just questions that came into Rubio at therubiomethod.com. And we're going to go from there. All right. So what's been going on with me and the Rubio method? All right. So here's what's going on. It's been about a month. There's been a lot of things happening. I will take it slow just so you guys understand. I had new floors put in, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, great. That's a wonderful story, Rubio. You sound like a complete adult. Well, yeah, because I had an insurance problem where there was the upstairs kitchen or bathroom was leaking, and we started to smell something. And this happened last Easter. And in case you didn't know, Easter's coming up, and it just got fixed right now. And we got it fixed with the exact same floors, basically like a cheaper version, but as a dude, I would never even know the difference. My wife even asked several times, like, hey, what do you think of the new floors? If I was blindfolded or if I had been on vacation or working or something like that, I honestly wouldn't even know there was new floors. So there's that. But if you've ever had to deal with insurance agents and just insurance in general, it is a absolute nightmare. I can't recommend not doing it as much as possible. It's one of the worst things ever. They just kind of have you over a barrel, as they say, and it's just an absolute tragedy. It's just one of the worst things ever because they are not moving very, very quick. Like I said, we're at a year out, and it barely got done, and we had to basically just give up on several things. So I don't even know what's going on with that. Next thing is my youngest, Damon Dale, he's got his permit, learning permit, and he's driving. And for those that have never been old enough to have a child that's driving, number one, they're going through the paperwork process and learning all the bookend stuff. And so they know more than any other human being on the planet, not to mention that they're a teenager. So they already know more than everyone else on the planet. So I'm getting constantly bombarded with, okay, this is how you're supposed to drive. Mind you, this person has never driven in their life and has been asleep pretty much 99% of the time in a car. And this is what you should be doing. And you're doing this wrong, blah, blah, blah. And if you've ever had a rough case of diarrhea, okay, I'm talking like explosive diarrhea, just drive with a 14 or 15-year-old, anyone that's got a permit. In Idaho, they start at 14. Just drive with any sort of 14 or 15-year-old kid that's learning to drive, and your butthole will pucker so much that they can have no fecal matter leaving. It's just one of those things where you will just be so puckered because God knows what is going to happen next, where it is just flat out frightening. And it's not anything that it is stuff that they're doing, but it's one of those things where it's just that everyone's got to learn. All I'm saying is that if you've never done it, it'll try your patience. It'll try your fear. Your anxiety level is through the roof. Like I've said before, thank God I don't have hair. I'd pull it out. It's just an absolute nightmare. And then also I had my middle son he played for football for Montana State. He's actually a real human being now. He's got a job and all that good stuff. He was in the national championship game, and they actually won. It was in Nashville. Last year they were in it as well in Frisco, Texas. They lost to South Dakota State, I think it was, or South Dakota, one of those. And now this year they lost the first two games to Oregon. They got whopped, which you would expect them to. And then they lost to North Dakota, South Dakota, one of those schools, and ended up, I think it was Illinois State. They played in the national championship, had a really good time, met a lot of good people out there. And it was a barn burner, as they say. It was one of those games where I will give you a little bit of version of it, where it was a packed house. It was at Vanderbilt Stadium, holds 40,000 people. They said there was only like 19 or 20,000 people there. That's impossible. It was packed. I mean, you had to literally like stand on people to get out, where people were sardine like teats to back. I mean, you couldn't even stand like this. You had to go sideways to get out to go to the bathroom. Funny story, there were so many dudes trying to go to the bathroom. Usually you go to a sporting event or just any event, and the chick's bathroom is 85, 95 deep. This one, the dude's bathroom, I don't know what the logistics was, but it was absolutely terrible. So at one point, second quarter, I had to pee, so I go out to the bathroom, and there's like 90 guys in each line. I'm not exaggerating here. There's like 90 guys. So I'm looking around like, okay, is there a bush here, or what am I going to do? And it comes to the point where I say, I can't have any more liquid. And I had a sweatshirt on because it was kind of cold. And I legit thought to myself, should I just take off my sweatshirt and piss my pants and cover my front? Because if I have to pee, it's over. I mean, I'm not standing in the line. I won't make it. So it was kind of miserable that way. But I had no more liquid. I survived. The first half was phenomenal. We were winning. The second half, we started to not do as well. The other team started to do better, obviously, and it became tie, went into overtime. And I'm going to show you a clip, and I apologize for the language. This was taken by our good friend Heather, and we didn't know she was taking it, but we had just come back in overtime to tie the game. And this is for the field goal or the extra point to win the game. And it's one of those things that it's just a great, great moment. I've watched this video probably, not joking, 500 times. And if I can get through the entire video without crying once again, I'd be impressed with myself. I doubt it's going to happen, but this is about a minute long. And once again, I apologize for one bit of language from my wife, but we're going to go with it. Here we go.
Oh my God, please.
So they had not, Montana State had not won a national championship for like 40 years. Obviously, there was a lot of people really, really happy, especially in our section. Obviously, we had about 80% of the crowd there. And it was one of the best, I don't want to say moments of my life, because it was so nerve-wracking that I was telling my wife and the people next to us, the Brought family, they became very, very good friends with us, and we still are good friends, talk all the time, that it was more anxiety driven, where I had never been so close to puking and crying at the exact same time. And it wasn't even enjoyable, even until after the game, when it finally settled down and you finally just kind of realize, okay, we did win. They're the national champions. It's like, you just have to relax for a second and just think, oh my God, we actually did it. And, because it does take a village. Obviously, the kids did everything on the field, but there's so many parents and the coaches and the wives and the equipment guys and the people that drive the trucks and all those things. It was just an amazing, amazing thing. And we're just so, yeah, Sheldon says, yeah, those games are more about relief when it's over. 100%. It was to the point where I don't want to say it felt like taking the biggest piss of your life, but it was like taking the biggest piss of your life and just being able to just, like, you felt like not that I've ever ran a marathon, but you felt like you ran a marathon. And it was just one of those things where I'm glad it's over. Obviously, I'm extremely happy that they won, but do I want to do that every single year? Good God, no. I would have much rather been like the Seahawks game for the Super Bowl championship, where they blew them out the whole entire time. It was a boring game to some for the Seahawks. I'm a Hawks fan, so to me, it was fantastic. I thought it was a great game. And the Super Bowl was one of those where I enjoyed it just simply because it was more relaxing. It wasn't as close. And as a fan, especially as someone's got something invested, it was easier to relax during that game. All right, so how do we get to this show? Okay, this show goes back, obviously, 115 episodes. Let me just give you some history for those people that are watching that are new. I was asked to do this show by a network called NGBN, National Grassroots Broadcasting Network. And the whole thing was basically, Rubio, you have the ability to speak. You don't mind being on camera. You could be an ass. You can talk about certain things, and you can talk about the men's mental aspect of it. Fantastic. I started doing some research on it, and it was like, this is cool. This is very, very interesting. And it's one of those things that you started to learn more and more and more. And the mental health aspects for dudes is wild. I mean, it is really, really wild. And so I started to dive into it, and the network grew. We started having people from all over the country and even other parts of the world joining in with us, from New Zealand and Australia, and I think Brazil, and I mean, a lot of, obviously, in America, Canada as well. And it was very, very interesting, and it grew pretty darn quick, and got to meet a ton of great people. Sheldon is one of them, where I got to meet him, and it grew very, very quickly. But then we started to realize, okay, we're moving in the right direction, but there's something wrong. And that something wrong was basically the leader of the entire group. This person was not being honest with everyone, and there was it didn't kind of pass the sniff test until at one point it kind of blew up, and everyone started to look around and say, holy hell, it's really blowing up. Like, did this really happen? And it did. And so people like rats leaving a ship started to go really, really, really quick. And one of the people that we met on the good side was people called Sideline Sports. Okay. So now this is where we are right now. So now there are winners and losers life. Let's move on. Sideline Sports contacts me about a week ago, and I'd been kind of in a funk of, okay, am I going to do a show? What am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? Sideline Sports, great guys. Remember, they're the ones that basically got us involved with the Super Bowl. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago when we were in Vegas, and they were great. You could see from top to bottom, they were just really nice guys. It's one of those, they had no hidden agenda. It was just, okay, what are we going to do? So what is Sideline Sports? It's built for fans, rooted in the details. Let me just pull it up here so you can see what I'm reading right now. Where is it? All right. Sideline Sports is an entertainment, started as a sports media company, is now expanding into the entertainment space. We are committed to delivering authentic coverage of sports and entertainment rooted in credibility, insight, and passion. We prioritize substance over sensationalism, informed analysis over empty headlines, and meaningful storytelling over click-driven noise. Our mission is to be a trusted source for fans who want real conversations about the games, the culture, and the moments that shape both industries. Sideline Sports and Entertainment has accepted the challenge to fill the void in sports and entertainment coverage. We deliver authentic, informed reporting, thoughtful analysis, and meaningful storytelling. I think that's where I'm going to come in. Free from hype, clickbait, or political noise. And there's going to be a little political noise from here tonight. Our mission is to be a trusted destination for fans who want real insight, real conversations, and real coverage of the moments and personalities that shape sports and entertainment. Fantastic. All right. So now, who are these guys? Like I said, they're from all over the country. And it's one of those, some names you will know. Nasty and Chevy. They have joined. You know them from the ride. I talk about them all the time. They're my Canadian boys. I even gave Nasty a bidet. I sent him one because he's never used one. I have one. It's phenomenal. I've told you before, it's like mouthwash for your butt. Okay. I don't know if he's used it yet. I hope he has. Nasty says a little political keeps it interesting. Yes, it does. 100%. I think it does. And everything revolves around politics nowadays where to me, it's one of those things where you just kind of laugh at it at this point. And some of them, and also AC of AC Sports Live, you're going to know him. We've talked about him as well. He's joined as well. Some of them you're just going to start to learn. And we're going to start retweeting them, and they're going to become guests on the show, and you'll start to learn who these guys are and watch their shows because they've got some great ones. So JB Ellis, John Shearer, Jay Nelson, James Tatum, Will Peralta, Pete Campbell, Marnie Schneider, Dave DeRocher, big guy for the Hawks. They have the Hawk Talk. That's I think it's every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Pacific. Nithin Ramachandra. I hope I said that right. Trey Smith. He's a Canadian, but he likes the Hawks, so we're going to go with it. Daryl McAvena. I love that name. Sounds like a certain type of dance from the 70s. And Sean Russie. He's an agent. I spoke to him this morning, I think it was. Okay, so this is the new group that I'm involved in. They're doing great things. You definitely want to check them out. It's Sideline Sports. I think it's /SE, Sideline Sports /SE. You'll see me retweeting them on social media. They do a very, very good job, and you're going to like them a lot. But we're going to move on right now to Accept and Embrace. Sheldon, I apologize. We had to go there. All right. So USA wins gold versus Canada. I'm a big United States guy. If you haven't figured that out yet, I'm very pro-America, obviously. And I respect those other countries that are pro whatever country they are. I know Nasty's Sheldon is nasty. He's very pro Canada, which great. More power to you, as you should be. You should be proud of where you are. That's why I always get very, not upset, but just confused where people that are in a country and they're not pro that country. So if you're a Canadian and you're living in Canada and you're not pro Canada, well, then leave. You know, you're pro Lithuania, but you don't like Lithuania, but you're in Lithuania. Get out. And I know there's some hindrance of how to do it, but that's the same thing with America. Like people that are just ripping on America all the time, but they live in America. Like you go to McDonald's and you say, "Oh my God, I hate McDonald's. It's the worst place ever." Don't go. Like, I just don't understand. Why would you continue to bitch and moan about someplace that you're at the entire time? It doesn't make sense to me. So it's one of those things. So as I've stated countless times, hockey, I've said this over and over and over. I'm a football guy. Growing up, I played baseball, basketball, football, golf. Obviously, no hockey because I've got zero balance. I've said it countless times. Hockey players are the most athletic human beings on the planet. It's the most fun sport to watch. If you've ever watched a hockey game in person, it's unbelievable. You will not think it's real because the guys are so big. They're not petite human beings, and they are moving around like ballet dancers, and they get knocked down and then they get back up. They're going forward, they're going backward. I mean, they are gliding. It doesn't even look real because they are so, I guess the word would be beautiful on the skates. And then you see them and you're like, dude, that is not a petite human being. Like figure skaters, okay, they're 5'2", 11 pounds. You expect them to do all the flips and all that crap. Hockey players, they're brutes. They are absolute brutes, but yet they are unbelievable athletes. So obviously there was a merger where you're going to say where you had USA versus Canada for the gold. Obviously Canadians are very into hockey. It's their number one sport. I would say America is probably our fourth sport. You probably have to go baseball, football, basketball, then hockey right on there. I don't know if football is taking over baseball in the lead, but it's one of those things where you definitely would say baseball, football, basketball, hockey. So it's our fourth sport. But when you got people that are pro-America and we're going against someone who's our northern border, okay, they're basically our neighbors. It's one of those things where it's going to get quote unquote political, like Nasty said. And it's one of those things that it makes me I love it. I was rooting for it the entire time. I wanted to see it. And we had some heroes come out of it. Jack Hughes, he's the guy that got his stick hit, someone's stick hit him in the face, teeth pop out, boom, and he continues and he wins the game in overtime with an unbelievable shot. I mean, it's just a true American hero. Boom, right there. That's a dude that should be on Time Magazine cover. It's not. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's one of those things that just his speech alone, and I'm going to go to it right now, is just you have to feel pride. And the thing with the hockey players is they have so much pride in America that it's become almost a political thing. So just go ahead and listen to Jack Hughes here. Absolutely phenomenal. Notice how he brings up the word America over and over and over and over and over. Okay. Sheldon says last night in Jersey, he gave a center ice speech and called out an American teammate from the opposing team. Both got a standing ovation. I saw that. And the funny thing about that, Nasty, is that everyone in the news is losing their mind saying, oh, it got too political because Kash Patel was in the locker room with them, swigging beers. El Trumbo called and had a joke of, oh, you're going to have to share the limelight with the ladies. Ha, 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 ha. And it was one of those things that when I heard it, I was like, they're going to take that the wrong way because it was just dudes being dudes. Should he have said it? No. Did he say it? Yeah. I mean, these guys laughed, and they're, they have just as much respect for the girls. And you can hear, because the girls won gold as well. They were badass as well. I think they won in overtime also. And it's one of those things that everything has just gotten so political with so many things. And before we get to the political aspect of it, one of the key moments where they were just showing after the awards ceremony, where one of the big things in hockey is when they come out and they take a picture with the trophy and all that good stuff. You take this massive photo, and you see it all the time. They had one of their teammates died. He got hit by a drunk driver, and his family was there, and they weren't going to go. And he's got two basically toddlers. They look like they're 1 and 2 years old. The teammates go into the crowd, and the first time I watch this, I'll probably cry right now just watching it. But they go into the crowd to get the kids, to get them with the dad's jersey in the picture. I mean, you can't not get emotional watching that. And it's unbelievable because it's so perfect. It so shows what those guys are about and how they are just such a group. And I don't want to rip on Canada too much, but because I've been to Canada recently. I'll talk about that. Sheldon says that was the only thing that made the loss easier for Canadians. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate on the Americans when they're doing something like that because you look and go, okay, I may not like them, but damn, that was sweet. Like, that was really nice. And as much as I don't like them and I'm pissed that we got silver, damn it. But Canada, You can't do things like this. This is from their Team Canada post, and it's just you're leaning into the whole nice guy thing, and it's just doesn't work. Especially with Americans who we lean into being a jackass. If we need to be a jackass, we will poke the bear. So Team Canada posted this. You can't post this. Team Canada, silver shines just as bright. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. How did that get approved? How do you do that? You can't put that out because everyone's going to comment like, say, dude, that's like just saying second place is just as good as first. No, it's not. So that's just bad. And it became one where it became so political, and the Canadians were like, oh, you guys cheated. You did this, and there was 3-on-5, or the overtime is just 3, blah blah blah. And I hate to bring this up to Canadians, but this is your sport, curling, and this was kind of a controversial moment right here. Oh, remember this? This Canadian, they ended up winning gold, and there was a big controversy where this guy was like, I didn't do it, and he like threw an F-bomb out in an interview. He was like, I didn't touch the whatever that thing is, the rock, the stone, or whatever. It's like, dude, you clearly did. So let's keep it down a little bit. But on that note, the press started going crazy, absolutely losing their mind for certain things. The U.S. men's hockey team won gold and then lost the room. A column on fragile, fleeting unity and an historic team that let its moment drift into political manipulation. What the hell are you talking about? Because they had Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, in there swigging beers with them? Okay. Political figures are going into locker rooms all the time. Who cares? If you just watched the movie Miracle, I think Walter, who was it, Mondale? He was in there as well. And Jimmy Carter was on the phone with them. No one lost their mind over that. Who cares? If Joey B was calling when he was president, I'd be like, hell yeah, he should. You're the leader of the free world. You're the most powerful man on the planet. And this is my country. More power to you. You should be calling in. I would be thinking it's weird if you didn't call in. And so you've got it going so political, and it's become so weird that other people are going off on the people writing these articles, and they're tired of it, where it's becoming such a thing now where I don't want to say it's dividing our country, but it's kind of dividing the country into people that are just like, dude, get over it. Or people that are like, but what if, and I read somewhere like Nasty was saying, yeah, Nasty has a great point. He says, Olympics are meant to bring the country together. That's what hurt here in Canada. 100%. And this is one of those things where, to me, we're winning gold against the team, quote, Canada should have won. They should have won because they're a hockey country. Like, you guys breed hockey players. You guys play hockey all the time. I think when you guys get older, what the hell do you guys call it? Ball hockey, Nasty? I heard you and Chevy talking about all the time. I'm assuming you just run around and there's a ball and you hit it, so you're not on skates anymore because you're older. I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I don't think I could do it, but it's one of those things that, yeah, it should bring a country together. And now it's bringing a country apart because you've got so many things that are just stupid, and you've got establishments going right at them. So this Jimmy Seafood, Huffington Post, this is a big news website organization. And Jimmy Seafood's just this seafood place out in, I think it's Boston, Massachusetts, or right around in the Massachusetts area. They're known for their seafood, obviously. Okay. Nasty says Chevy plays pocket hockey. Pocket hockey? I thought he said ball hockey. Pocket hockey. What the hell is pocket hockey? Are the goals called pockets? Is that a Canadian term? I need to learn more about this Canadian thing. So anyway, Huffington Post posted, and I apologize for the language on this one. Huffington Post, if waving the American flag or chanting USA turns you off right now, you're not alone. And Jimmy Seafood says, go F yourself. And they got 253,000 likes. And I think it's still growing. And then they had another one where someone else wrote a stupid article and they just wrote the same thing. Go F yourself. And it's one of those where they're just looking to like poke the bear and push everyone that just feels like, oh, woe is me. You should have done that. You should have done this. Dude, they're 20 to 30-year-old kids. They just won the biggest award they could possibly win besides the NHL Stanley Cup. And they want to take a call from the president and they want to swig some beers with the FBI director. Let them do it. Okay. So it's one of those things where this is just stupid. And I'm glad people are stepping up because now you've got them at the State of the Union. And El Trumpo brought them out because they should. They're heroes. The girls were going to be invited out as well, but they don't have a professional hockey league. So they're in college. So they're already back, and they had some other scheduling differences, and they're going back to, they're actually going to go to the White House a little bit later. So, okay, whatever. So they come out, and this picture to me is perfect from the speaker, State of the Union. We're going to talk about the State of the Union just in a second here, but this shows the divide where you like Nasty said, the Olympics are meant to bring a country together, but this picture right here shows how far apart certain parts of this country are. And I'm assuming it's like this way in Canada as well. But this picture where you've got the hockey players with their gold medals, their USA shirts, they're pumped to be, they're out there, they're having a great time, smiling, having a good time. And then you've got this reporter down on the bottom who's got a mask on, not happy, just looking down. Like, dude, it's 2026. What are you still doing with a mask on, bud? And if you think that's helping you, so are the hockey players going to die within 4 seconds? Like, what's going on? And this, to me, this picture perfectly encompasses, we'll say, what's going on, where you've got this versus that. And it's just so, it's one of those things where I don't want to get too political, but it's just one of those things that I just laugh at and go, what the hell are we doing here, guys? Because this picture to me is just absolutely perfect. I thought it was hilarious when I saw it. And it's just one of those things that the more and more you look at it, the more and more you have to realize maybe we're not too close together, and we really need to be able to get a little bit closer. All right. So working hard is not enough. Working hard is not enough. State of the Union was on Tuesday night. Now, State of the Union is for those in Canada. I think it was every year, every 2 years, something like that. We have a State of the Union. Basically, the leader of the free world, the president, gets up and he talks and he says, all right, so here's the State of the Union being the United States. And we're saying, hey, here's our state of it. Are we good? Are we bad? Here's what we need to work on. And it's become a rah thing. It always happens where you've got, half the stadium, we'll say that I can't remember what the room's called, is Republicans, half are Democrats. Then you got the Supreme Court. Then up the balconies usually have some VIPs. This is where the hockey players were and things like that. And it's one of those things that become very, very pomp and circumstance, and they're doing all this. And, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I like to speak, and everyone appreciates some good applause, but they are standing and sitting for every single thing. It's almost like if you've ever been to a Catholic wedding where everyone stands up, you sit down, you stand up, you sit down. Like, you got to stretch out before you go to a Catholic wedding or you go to the State of the Union. And it's the exact same type of thing. And it's one of those things that it's become overdone, where those that are in on the good side of whoever's the president at this point, they're raw, yay. And the people that aren't, they're just bah humbug. They look like the old guys in the Muppets on the balcony, and they're just pissed off at life. And it's one of those things that, oh, okay, we got it. Okay. But it's become stupid now, where number one, if I was the president, I'd say, you guys can clap real quick. No standing and sitting. Let's just get it all done, because unless it's something that really, really needs to be stood up on, okay, you can do it. But if you don't, that's fine, because you're taking up a lot of time. And El Trumpo, this is his wheelhouse. Like, this is his Super Bowl. This guy loves to speak in front of people. He does a very, very good job at it. Does he embellish some certain things? Of course he does. Every person that's speaking in front of that many people and millions of people on TV is going to. Can he speak for 2 hours straight? 100%. And that's how long the speech was. And to me, a lot of it was funny. A lot of it was serious. A lot of it was sad. And a lot of it was just one of those where I just laughed like, holy hell, did he really say that? And it's, like I've always said, he's just one of those guys that he knows how to poke the bear, and he does a very, very good job of it. And he had one particular moment where it was a big, big gamble. And he took the gamble, and the Dems took it hook, line, and sinker. And this is one of those that if they didn't do what he thought they would do, he would have looked like a big ass. But they hate him more than they like the country. So he knew he had it in his hip pocket, and sure as hell, he did. And here's the moment right here. It's a little bit long. It's probably 1 minute, 20 seconds, but it's one of those things that you have to understand. He just set them up so well, and they fell right into the trap, because they could have got him. If they would have just stood up, he would have got him. They would have got him. It would have been over.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Okay, now that shouldn't be a controversial remark. If you say the government should support the American citizens over someone who's not a citizen of America, please stand up. I mean, we're not saying like if you like pepperoni and or pineapple on pizza, please stand up. This is one of those. It should be pretty cut and dry. So we'll let them keep going. Okay, so right there is where he got him. Notice he waits. He lets them keep clapping, and then he looks over and he's like, "Guys, you really can't stand for this." See, here's the thing. This is where he's playing it because he should have started talking probably 20 seconds, even 30 seconds before that. But notice he waits and he waits and he waits. And with every second, it just makes it look worse. And it's become the talking point for the next 2 days because everyone's looking going, this is kind of a no-brainer, guys. Like, stand up if you hate people that kill puppies. And no, we'll just sit down. Like, come on, guys. This is a no-brainer here. And it's one of those things that's not hard. And so that one got him. He brought up 2 military vets. One was a helicopter pilot that was shot, I think, 23 times in his legs. He literally couldn't stand up without a walker because I think his legs got blown off or something like that. And he got a Medal of Honor with his wife. And this dude was chiseled. He looked like he was built out of damn granite. And they couldn't stand for him. And then there was a 100-year vet who literally he was in a battle like 1952, and he fired off like 287 rounds, killed X amount of people, and he got a Medal of Honor. They couldn't stand for him. Like, what are you doing, guys? Like, this is one of those where you got to put your swords away. You just have to say, okay, I may not like him, but he's got a point on this one. We can support these people and we can do these things because if you don't, you just look really, really bad. And it's a no-brainer. And like I've said before, we need to find a way to actually have conversations without losing our minds. And it's so hard to do that politically nowadays because everyone's got an opinion, and that's great. I love to. I was talking to JB Ellis about this and also Sheer when they were basically asking me to come on the Sideline Sports. And I said, I have no problem being whatever you want me to be. If you want me to be the guy that pokes the bear, antagonizes people, I said, you know me, I like to talk and I love to argue. It's one of my favorite things in life to do. My wife hates that I like to do it, but I do like to do it. Just because I want to find out what's going on in everyone else's head. Like, I want to know why you think this way. And if you can convince me, that's great. I think it's wonderful. That's why when I talk to people that have different religions, I always say, like, tell me about your religion. I want to know why you think this. All right. And it's one of those where I think as a country, we need to be able to do that more and actually have a conversation with people that we don't think alike without losing our minds. It's okay. It's okay for you to think A, why I think B, and me explain why I like B and you like A. And we don't have to want to kill each other. You want to live your life like an A, and I want to live my life like a B. Cool. Just don't be an ass, and I won't be an ass, and we can live happily ever after. But if we can't get our country back to that, we're going to have some big, big problems. And it's one of those things that I think it just showed really, really a lot. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger. But I think at this point, it's starting to get a little bit old with people where they are starting to think, you know what, we don't like it anymore, and we're going to just move on, and we're going to do what we're going to do because you're going to hate me regardless. So why not just say what I want to say? And that, I don't know if that's good or bad. To me, it's bad because I think we need to come together at some point. But if you've got so many people that are so far out one way or the other and don't have the ability to come back and talk, that could be a big problem. So we'll see how it's going. All right, the last section, confidence is the key. Before I get to that, I want to thank our sponsors, Artbeat. Artbeat does absolutely phenomenal work. Absolutely, they do all my gear. This shirt, fantastic. It feels so nice and comfy on me. They do worldwide shipping. Artbeat, you can find them on Facebook. They do a great job. And also One Shot Charlie's out in Harrison, Idaho. They do a fantastic job. So support the sponsors, support people that support us. Really, really appreciate that. So confidence is the key. These are just questions that have been given to me over the past couple months that I have just putting out now. So you can email any questions you want to Rubio at therubiomethod.com, Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Those that are new watchers, listeners, and all that good stuff. Rubio, you talk about Canada a lot. Well, when was the last time you've been there? I was actually there like 3 weeks ago. Nasty, I didn't even tell you. Okay. I was there about 3 weeks ago. One of my friends, his kid plays basketball at, I forgot it. Catalando, something like that. Cataldo, maybe that's it. It's in Vancouver. It's a basketball school. Well, it's a basketball school to me, but it's, it's got everything. Clean city, Vancouver, very crowded. Holy hell. And I was not expecting what I saw, where to me, Canadians are just, I'm thinking maple syrup, Canadians, blah, blah, blah. There was only like 5 white people the entire time I was there, which was really, that's not what I expected at all. I got stopped going through the border. My entire group did in our car. They were not exactly friendly. The border patrol, whatever, going into Canada, probably didn't help that my wallet is a big American flag. I don't know what to tell you, but they basically frisked us the entire time. And we had some friends of ours, their kids going, so 22, 23, 24. Nasty says, Vancouver is beautiful. Yeah, it was very clean, but yeah, very international now. Yeah, that's the understatement of the year. Everyone was, all I saw was Indians and Asians. And I thought for sure I'd be like, okay, where's like the Mounties and the Moose and the Canadians? But that's not what I saw there. I mean, I was shocked, but they were, and the Border Patrol was very adamant of, oh, we got to check all this. You can't bring this in. Our tariffs are really high. They're really high. Wonder why. I was like, oh, okay, get over it. We got it. So there's that. When is the last time you've been there? So it's been about 3 weeks. There was a couple things that I thought were great. There was a couple things that I didn't understand, and like the national anthem's kind of cool. I like that because I watch Shoresy, so I hear it all the time. But they did land acknowledgments, and I didn't understand that at all. To me, that makes zero sense. If someone's off their land, I don't get it. It's like the Seahawks got to acknowledge the Patriots next year every single game. We acknowledge the Patriots that we beat them for the Super Bowl. No, you just kind of move on. If someone can explain that to me, I'd be more than happy to go on their show and talk to them about it. I just don't. To me, it doesn't make any sense. The next one, Rubio, are you afraid to die? No, I'm not. I'm getting older. My mom hates to say that because I always tell her that, there's winners and losers in life. People, you're going to get old and die. She always, stop saying that, stop saying that, stop saying that. Well, it's true. People get old and die. I told you before about my grandmother who lived, I think she was 99 or 99 and a half or 98 and a half. I mean, she was in hospice for like 6 weeks. They couldn't get her to die. Like they were saying, like she didn't drink water for like 6 days or something like that. They kept giving her a purse and saying, hey, go to the light. Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Full speed ahead. And she just wouldn't die. And for some reason, the family said I was allowed to be one of the speakers at the funeral. That was a bad move because immediately I said, am I sad she died? Not really. She's 99. She ran the race. How much would you thought she was going to be 187? 99 is pretty damn good. I mean, that's old. You've accomplished a lot. More power to you. Rubio, do you like hot honey on pizza? Yes. And it bothers me that I just found out about hot honey on pizza probably a year ago. It's delicious. I'm not a honey guy. I don't think I've had honey until probably a year ago. That was probably the first time I've ever had honey. To me, growing up, honey was always just people that were hippies had it. And so we didn't have honey in my house, and we weren't British, so we didn't drink tea. So I never had any of that stuff. So you get hot honey, put it on, drizzle on a pizza. My God, it's delicious. Rubio, did you watch the Super Bowl halftime show? I watched both of them. I watched the Turning Point one, and I watched the other one. I kind of stopped watching the main one because I don't speak Spanish, and the music didn't really intrigue me. So I didn't know what was happening. I know JB had a nice video. JB Ellis had a nice video on why he thought it was great, and more power to you. If you thought it was great, it's great. To me, not my cup of tea. I didn't understand what was happening. I couldn't understand the song. The music wasn't really my bag. So it was one of those things that I just didn't find it interesting. So I didn't watch it. And I knew the other ones. Rubio, what is the best video you saw this week? I saw this video and I saved it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. This is a video. It's some sort of Special Olympics or something like that, where they've got these kids that have got some issues and they're running a race. And so everyone's got their lane. And I saw this, and I'll try not to cry throughout the whole thing, but holy hell, this is one of the best videos. We're going to end on this. We're going to come back to it at the end. But if you've not seen this, get ready. This is one of the cutest damn things you'll ever see. Okay, for those that are listening on Spotify or iTunes or anything like that, you've got this Special Olympics race. They're probably running 100 meters or whatever. And there's this kid, I think he's in the second lane, and he sees his mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whatever on the side. They're filming, and they're like, go, Johnny, go, Johnny, go, Johnny. And this dude sees him, and he comes immediately over during the middle of the race, gives them a hug and a kiss, and then he goes back to his lane. So instead of running, just finishing off the race, dude goes straight back to his lane like a robot and takes off straight for the finish line again. It's absolutely hilarious. I just thought it was so funny. It's just so cute. Too fantastic. All right. So the bottom line is all the stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Jesus, 49 minutes in already. We're just going to go through the basics. Number one, everything happens for a reason. Okay. How did we get to this point with the Rubio method? Number two, there are winners and losers in life. Had to learn a lot from the bad parts about NGBN, but I learned some good things as well, and got us to here with the sideline sports. Number three, accept and embrace USA. And number four, working hard is not enough. You got to put down your swords, guys. You have to be able to be smart and be able to talk to other people. And that's what the big thing I try to do with this show a lot is make you laugh. We're going to talk about more lighthearted stuff now, and also just, be able to speak to other people and try to learn a little bit. And confidence is the key. I think that dude right there, I think it was a dude, he showed a lot of confidence, but he's just going to run his race. He's having a damn good time. If you have any questions, you can always email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. The show is a little rusty right now, but we did a good job. We came through. I want to thank all the people that were watching, commenting, listening. If you have any comments, like I said, just follow us on socials, and we really appreciate our sponsors, Artbeat and One Shot Charlie's. On that note, I'm out.